Let's take back our city, one vaccination at a time. Safe and effective COVID-19 vaccines are here. Get yours when it's your turn. Learn more at nyc.gov/COVID vaccine. No matter how much we want it gone, COVID-19 is still here. That's why we all need to keep wearing our face coverings, keep physical distancing, and keep washing our hands. And as always, stay at home if you're feeling sick. The COVID-19 vaccine is available to certain groups in NYC, but now is not the time to stop protecting ourselves. Learn more at nyc.gov/health/coronavirus.
Good evening. Buenas noches. My name is Felix Orocho, the Performing Arts Manager for the Hostos Center for the Arts and Culture. We are so excited that you have joined us as we premiere our 4-part series called A Celebration of Dominican Music. Tonight, with the Dominican-raised, Bronx-based bachatera, the wonderful Andre Veloz, in performance and in live conversation. This series is a collaboration between Hostos Community College's Center for the Arts and Culture and the CUNY Dominican Studies Institute of the City College of New York. We thank Dr. Ramona Hernandez, the director of the Institute, for support of this series. And we also thank our very own Associate Dean for Community Relations, Ana Garcia Reyes. Join me in thanking them both. We also thank our sponsors, the Hostos Community College Foundation, New York City Council for the Arts, New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, the New York State Council on the Arts, the Howard Gilman Foundation, the National Endowment for the Arts, the Coalition of Theaters of Color, and the offices of New York State Assembly member Jose Rivera and New York City Council member Rafael Salamanca Jr. It is our great pleasure now to introduce our programming partner and your host this evening, Dr. Paul Austerlitz, a distinguished visiting professor of the Dominican Studies Institute, a noted ethnomusicologist, author, and musician. Let us give a big bienvenida to Dr. Paul Austerlitz.
Thank you so much, Felix, and thank you everyone at Hostos, at the Dominican Studies Institute, and in New York, Dominican Republic, everywhere. It's such an honor to be here with you. So as Felix said, this is a series called The Celebration of Dominican Music, and we'll be with you every other Wednesday in May and June. We'll be featuring 4 genres of Dominican music: bachata, merengue, Afro-Dominican music, and Dominican classical music. Those 4 genres are also represented in a website that we produced at the Dominican Studies Institute, A History of Dominican Music in the United States. It's an interactive site where you can really delve into the development of many kinds of Dominican music. And so this show was kind of conceived as an adjunct to that resource. And as Felix said, we're starting out with bachata. Bachata is a beautiful, very sublime guitar-based music that some people have called the Dominican blues. It's quintessentially Dominican, but it has traveled all around the world. And in fact, Dominican Republic is my second country, but my first country where I was born was Finland. And last time I was in Finland, I saw people dancing bachata there. So it's all over, you know? And today we're really fortunate to have a very interesting bachatera with us, Andre Veloz. And she's a graduate of Hostos Community College, by the way. And it's my honor to introduce her and to engage her in a conversation. Wallace Edgecombe, who made waves at Hostos for many years, wrote that Andre Veloz is, and I quote, a daring woman who is plunged headlong into the male-dominated world of Dominican bachata, making no excuses and begging no quarter. Her soulful, pure, and sonorous voice is tailor-made for the Dominican blues. When you hear her, it's as if she's saying, yes, it hurts, but I will survive. So please join me in welcoming Andre Veloz.
Hi, how are you, Paul?
Andre, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien, gracias. Thank you very much. Doing great.
Un placer.
Thank you for that introduction. Like, it's very humbling, especially coming from you, someone that we hold in such a high place in our hearts, especially musicians. We respect you a lot.
Thank you so much. I just, so just to give a heads up to the audience, Andre has recorded a half-hour program for you, especially for this series. And we're going to go into that now. But before we do, is there anything you'd like to share about the music that you've recorded for the people to think about as they listen?
Actually, yes. Just as you mentioned, bachata is guitar-based music. And in this occasion, we only have John Chapman in the bass and Eta Ketaki, Andre Veloz in the voice and in the guira, because this is what we have during these very uncertain times where it's kind of hard sometimes even to find musicians that are willing to take the risk to come in close contact with you. And I was very pleasantly surprised that it worked so well with the bass. And I also have to say the acoustics and the lights were just amazing. So I think it makes it up for the lack of guitar. You can hear the feeling in the bass and also a lot of the feeling in the voice.
Oh, it's wonderful. I'm sure we're going to enjoy it. And then after the program, we'll come back to talk. And all of you out there in Zoom and Facebook land, think of some questions, because we'll also, really looking forward to hearing from you if you want to get into a conversation with Andre. So I guess without further ado, we'll turn it over to the video. So, música, maestra.
Hola mi gente, hola damas, caballeros, niños, niñas, how are you? We are Andre Veloz and band, but because of social distancing, today is just John Chapman in the bass y una servidora, Eta Ketaki, Andre Veloz, and we are really happy to be here with you at Hostos Community College. And we are going to start with a very sad song. It's a song about when you give your heart to the wrong person. And this is called La Pendeja. Se dice que es condena quien olvida su historia, la mire repetirse. Sé que esa es mi sentencia por ser mujer pendeja, predigo va a herirme. Y hoy vuelves de la nada a dar vuelta a las cartas que echaste antes de irte. Y yo aquí como idiota, mirando tu maroma, no hago más que rendirme. Yo elijo al olvidarme que tú nunca fingiste, que nunca me quisiste. The Nile ain't just a river, las cosas terminaron porque así decidiste. Pon a mis pies tu piedra pa' tropezar de nuevo. Miénteme, me quisiste. Yo elijo el olvidarme que tú nunca fingiste, que nunca me quisiste. The Nile ain't just a river, las cosas terminaron porque así decidiste. Las brasas siguen rojas, yo sigo dando pena. Miénteme, me quisiste. La Pendeja. The following song is a new one and it's called Apaga el Televisor, and this song was released in 2020, a year where that was completely necessary, just to turn off the television and pay attention to the person next to you, because you never know what tomorrow brings. Esto es, apaga el televisor. Turn off that television, baby. El tiempo dejó en ruina y en silencio a ese cariño agonizante de viejo. Las canciones de amor mienten a la hora de la verdad. Ahora soy la Julieta, tú el Romeo. Da un cuento de hadas que anda corto en deseo. Ay, qué mundo tan distinto, fantasías de realidad. Ay, pero dime, ¿qué harías si te digo que se acaba el tiempo? Corre, mi vida, ya la guerra está perdida. Apaga el televisor, que ahora viene lo mejor. Un amor tan inocente que en las noches fosforece. Deja encendida la luz y me verás florecer. Verás cómo renacemos, aunque la costumbre crece. Desconecta corazón, reciclemos este amor. Mi cariño desafiante sigue firme igual que antes, lejos del destello azul que interrumpe tu fulgor. Que sea toda mi corriente tu gemido electrizante. Do I dare disturb the universe? Let us go, you and I. Aprovechate, cariño, por lo menos esta noche. Mis pelos seca a tus pies. Apaga el tiempo, mi amor, que se arruga el corazón. Mi reloj marcó 1000 horas, las mejores ellas tienes. Deja entrar la claridad, verás flores renacer. De mi carne y de mis huesos que no dejan de quererte. Apaga el televisor, ven te entrego lo mejor. Un amor tan indecente que en las noches resplandece. Deja encendida la luz y me verás florecer. Verás cómo renacemos, aunque la costumbre crece. Apágalo, apaga el televisor. This song is one of the first bachatas ever to be recorded, and it's called Cry to the Moon, Llanto a la Luna by José Manuel Calderón. Luna, dime tú si ella me quiere, como yo la quiero a ella, como tan solo se quiere, una sola vez. Ay, Luna, tú que eres como ninguna, que de noche nos alumbras juntito con las estrellas y escuchando mi canción. Mi canción, que es como un grito que le pide al cielo. Ese sueño que el pobre del pobre no puede alcanzar. Pero siempre se tiene esperanza cuando se tiene ese amor puro como es el mío, que nunca se muere. Ay, Luna, dime tú si ella me quiere, como yo la quiero a ella, como tan solo se quiere, una sola vez. Ay, Luna, tú que eres como ninguna, que de noche nos alumbras juntito con las estrellas y escuchando mi canción. John Chapman in the bass. Compréndeme, tú sabes que te quiero solo a ti. No me niegues la esperanza de volverte a besar. Ay, en mi vida, ay tú pretendes creer que mi destino y tu amor se han separado por rutas diferentes. No puede ser. No puede ser. No puede ser. No puede ser. Tantas cosas lindas espero yo de ti, tenerte en mis brazos para ser feliz, juntito a ti, ay, 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 ay. Dime tú si ella me quiere como yo la quiero a ella, como tan solo se quiere una sola vez. Ay, luna, tú que eres como ninguna, que de noche nos alumbras juntito con las estrellas y escuchando mi canción. Luna, 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 Llanto a la luna. Pena. Okay, pena. Oh, wait. Before we go with this one, we have to give credit to el añoñadito, el papá de la bachata, Luis Segura. And this is a classic of bachata. And it also portrays purely what bachata is all about. And I think that you will say like the secret ingredient of bachata is amargue, bitterness. Bachata is also called música de amargue, which translates roughly into bitter music. And this song is puro amargue, puro anger y pura pena. Pena es lo que siente mi alma, porque esa mujer no entiende que me hace perder la calma. Mira a ver que tú me tienes cansado, te llevo por todas partes y nunca tú eres feliz. Mátame, amor, si no eres conforme, si yo a ti te lo di todo, ¿qué más quieres tú de mí? Quiera Dios que encuentre un hombre en tu vida que te dé todo el cariño que quizás yo no te di. Quiera Dios que encuentre un hombre en tu vida que te dé todo el cariño que quizás yo no te di. Mátame, amor, si no eres conforme. Si yo a ti te lo di todo, ¿qué más quieres tú de mí? Quiera Dios que encuentre un hombre en tu vida que te dé todo el cariño que quizás yo no te di. Lord, I hope that in your life you find someone able to give all that loving que quizás yo no te di, that you never had for me, que quizás yo no te di, que quizás quiera Dios que encuentre un hombre en tu vida que te dé todo el cariño que quizás yo no te di. Mareo. The following song is not mine. We are doing a cover of Jobim's Garota de Ipanema. But we moved her to Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic, the city where I'm from. And we changed the name a little bit. Now it's called La Chica de Puerto Plata, and this time she's a stalker. Flaco, bacano y buen mozo, el boy de Ipanema cruza la acera con el tumbao que llevan los guapos al caminar. Mi corazón se acelera, me pongo nerviosa, me da una loquera por el de Ipanema, el tigre dueño de mi suspirar. Ay, ese tipo me gusta. Ay, él a mí ni me mira. Ay, ese no se imagina que me paso gran parte del día soñando un día yo le diría: papi, oye, no te confunda, mira lo que pasa. No soy de Brasil, yo soy de Puerto Plata y bailo bachata hasta el amanecer. Teach me some portugués, dime a ver qué es lo que vamos a hacer. O si hablamos inglés, vamos a hablar inglés, vamos a hablar inglés, vamos a hablar inglés, vamos a hablar inglés. O te menea, o te apea, o te menea, o te apea, te menea, o te apea, o te menea. Teach me some portugués, fálame en portugués, o ven a hablarme inglés. madruga, que dejó una cama fría cuando dio la madruga. Es una abejita guapa, no para de laborar, pa' mandar pay de chelito a su mamá por Navidad. No le para la fatiga, no le tiene miedo a nada, y cuando le caen limones se faja sin limona. Ahora la abejita es vi, porque en los países está, pero hay un zumbante rubio que la quiere deportar. Sueña voy a su loma y sentarse en la rama. Abejita caribeña que voló sin avisar, que eligió ser emigrante, residente o ilegal. No le para la fatiga, no le tiene miedo a nada, y cuando le caen limones se faja sin limona. Sueña voy a su tierra a coger fresco en rama. Ahora anda preocupada, cabizbaja y sin hablar, porque oyó una avispa rubia, abeja quiere deportar. Porque oyó un zumbante gringo, ahora la quiere deportar. Abejita caribeña que voló sin avisar, que dejó una cama fría cuando dio la madruga. No le para la fatiga, no le tiene miedo a nada, y cuando le caen limones se faja sin limona. Sueña voy a su campo a coger fresco en la enrama. Esta que está aquí, 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 this one that is here. Esta que está aquí, esta que está aquí, esta que está aquí no va pa' parte. Esta que está aquí se va a dormir. Esta que está aquí no quiere coro. Esta que está aquí no va a salir. Esta que está aquí ya se hizo un tubi, ay. Esta que está aquí ya puso un té. Esta que está aquí anda en una bata y de casa no se va a mover. Esta que está aquí, this one that is here. Esta que está aquí, 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 esta que está aquí. ¡Woohoo! Esta que está aquí no tiene un chele y esta hora le duelen los pies. Esta sabe que de aquella cama, ay, este cuerpo no se va a mover. Esta que está aquí no quiere coro. Esta que está aquí se va a dormir. Esta que está aquí no tiene $1. Esta que está aquí no está pa' ti. Esta que está aquí, this one that is here. Esta que está aquí, esta que está aquí, esa que está ahí, y esta que está aquí, esta que está aquí, esta que está aquí. Si quiere bailar, si quiere beber, mejor tráeme ron a domicilio, la calle no me ve. Si quiere bailar, si quiere beber, mejor tráeme ron a domicilio, la calle no me ve. Si quiere bailar, si quiere beber, mejor tráeme ron a domicilio, la calle no me ve. Bailar, beber, mejor tráeme ron aquí a la casa, la calle no me ve. We are very happy to be here. We want to say thank you from the bottom of our heart for the invitation and to bring my music to all of you from here, from Hostos Community College, is more than a privilege to us. We feel very fortunate, and we wish you very good health at home. And we hope everything comes back to the normality very soon so that we can enjoy live music. Gracias.
Andre, wow.
Hey, Paul.
Wow, no, that was amazing. What a treat.
I'm glad you liked it.
You know, and I have to say, it works as a small, duo, really, You really fill it out, and it gives a new angle on bachata. It's a different kind of bachata just because of the the two of you, but you fill it out. And John, hey John, you sound great, and your voice is just outstanding. And La Guirera, muy buena también.
La Guirera, ahí.
No, Guirera, you found a lot of things in there, like, it was nice. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I mean, we just feel very fortunate that it was even able to happen, and that you thought about us as a band, because I mean, our traditional band of six musicians has been stripped to 2 people, 2.5, because then I play the guira bien bajito, so it doesn't pick up it doesn't get inside the microphone of the voice, actually, because it's such a bright instrument. It's very bright, the sound, and it gets everywhere. So again, it's a privilege just to be able to sing right now. I miss it so much. And the theater, Paul, oh my God, the acoustics are amazing. Except for one thing, like, I really hope I can see the theater full with people very soon. Right.
Yeah, thank you so much to everyone at Hostos, the whole crew, Greg, and everyone who made that. They're such pros. It's a big honor for me too to be here, and it's so much fun. It was amazing you sang those songs by the classic male bachateros, and and you also sang your song. And I wanted to ask you another question, but I thought of a question while you were singing. And I want to start with that. And it's an open-ended thing. You can kind of go anywhere with it, because I think the audience just wants to hear you talk, But why the focus on amargura? What is bachata? Like, what's the message? Of course, every song is different, but what is bachata telling? And why is it important to sing about bitterness? And what kind of bitterness is it? Is there a swagger in the bitterness? Is there a happiness in the bitterness? Or is it just bitterness? And then also your own song, how did that fit into it too?
You know what? I think to be able to dance away your sorrow is an incredible thing. And to be able to write about the things that make you sad and turn them into something that is fulfilling for your soul, and also a message that sometimes even resonates with other people that have gone through the same experience, that they can relate to that storytelling, is something I think is good for the soul, actually. Just for us musicians and artists to let it out, and for the people that like and enjoy our music to dance it away. And just like tango, in blues, and so many other music genres that were undermined in the different cultures, bachata went through the same process, and I think that is why it's such a close cousin of the blues. And it has that saudade, like they say in Brazil. I think that's the closest word to amargue, actually, saudade. And these guys, the bachata masters, the fathers of bachata, were very great at conveying all of those feelings that, you know what, even if it was happening inside the Dominican Republic itself, a lot has to do with migration, leaving behind things you love. And sometimes you do need your little dance and your little sip of something and to shake it off, to shake off the blues.
And there's also a lot of those bachateros and the bachatas talk about migration, internal migration too, from the country to the city, you know. And it's a very male-oriented thing too, which I wanted to return to, but you know, you reminded me of something you said about dancing your sorrows away, I guess. You know, they used to talk about alchemy, and alchemy was the science of turning lead into gold. But it's really the science, the creative act of turning something difficult into something beautiful. And that's what you do with your music, you know, and that's what bachata does. So that was really interesting. You mentioned these male bachateros, you know, and it's a very kind of male-oriented music, and it's a very Dominican music. And I found a quote from you that I really like, and I'm going to read it. You said, and I quote, "We female bachata singers are like unicorns. People think we are a myth, but we do exist." So Andre, as a woman bachatera who resides in the US, what does your music contribute to discussions about gender and Dominicanidad?
Look, I think I have to start by saying that I have matured so much over the last years, especially the last years since I moved to United States since 2004. And I think I'm more able to put myself in the shoes, for example, of the people that created this music genre, bachata, and understand that the way it was born, it was in circumstances that women didn't have, let's say, the most access to. I talk sometimes to my friend Edilio Paredes, and he's one of the founding fathers of bachata, and he tells me like how they used to go, all of the musicians in the middle of the night in dirt roads to play a bachata. Bachata, the name bachata comes from the party, the gathering. And from there, from the little bachatas, the little gatherings, it moved to brothels. And women were the dance partners. Imagine, if it's hard to be a musician in normal circumstances, sometimes in those circumstances, especially in the 50s, late 50s, 60s, 70s, where women could not do many of the things we do right now, I think it's understandable. So I'm cutting it some slack now. And we have a very limited presence of women in bachata. And I think that is going to take some time, to be honest, because there are not that many. And people are not compelled to consume our music because they don't know it's there. You know what I mean? Like, I am also trying to be more compassionate, to learn to understand where all of this is coming from and the lack of it. And it's going to take a lot of work in a lot of Latin music, not only in bachata, for people to start accepting the fact that women can be performers, interpretes, and also musicians. So, but I think I'm not the only person kind of trailblazing. There are so many brave, persistent women. There are a lot of bachateras actually in New York, a lot of female bachata singers, as well as here in the Dominican Republic. And takes a little bit of digging, but it's worth looking for it.
It's powerful. Yeah, just just your presence on the scene, all of the women bachateros, I think makes a statement, that is very helpful to men too, to everyone. We all need that.
I think it's very important, and it's important to support it, because not for my benefit itself, although of course I'm going to benefit if people like my music, but also for future generations. Like the kids that are growing up right now, the boys and the girls, are not seeing females doing music played in the radio, played on the television, that here in the Dominican Republic is very important. And it's not normal not having women performing. It's not normal, the ratio of male versus female performers, and male versus female presence. And the way to start overcoming that is with more inclusion. And it will come eventually, I hope. I hope in my lifetime.
It's happening. Do you think that singing bachata as a woman brings a different message to the music? I mean, other than the fact that your presence already is a statement, but like what does a woman's viewpoint on la música de amarga bring to, what can we learn from women bachateras?
You're not gonna learn it from my bachata. You're not gonna get that from mine, and because I mean, why do I have always to go against the current? Siempre nadando contra la corriente, because another decision I have made is to write the least possible about amargue. Like I really want to write of something that is not about love. And I actually feel very funny when I write about love. When I sing love songs, I feel very like a fish out of water. I rather sing about all of the crazy things we men and women face every day. Not only women, but all of us from different perspectives. Like Eta Que Ta Aquí, that is a creation with Lenin Comprés, is about staying home. It's about not going anywhere. By the same token, Agutina, that is another bachatarengue, that is merengue de guitarra, like what Anthony Santos plays. That one is about how we get dressed just to do Zooms, and we like to be liked, and we like our likes on the internet. So it's very different, silly little things what I write about. Many bachateras do just keep like a very tight closeness to the traditional amargue bachata in songs that are about lost or about love, and above all, about amargue.
Great. I wanted to see if we have any comments from the audience to get people involved here. Esdra Santana dice que qué bueno estuvo eso. Gracias.
Gracias, Esdra. I saw your comment.
And then we have Johanna Gomez. That was definitely a beautiful, you know her? Okay.
Yeah, of course. She's from Hostos Community College.
Oh, okay.
And it's a great community.
Wonderful. Thank you, Johanna. That was definitely a beautiful treat, sharing in this space and moving to the wonderful rhythm of Andre Veloz and Mr. Chapin. Thank you so much for sharing her music with the world. It's great to have her back at home. Hostos Community College. Thank you so much. We love you, Andre. And
you know what? I just like, I feel very emotional just with the idea. There is a saying in Spanish, el hijo bueno a su casa vuelve. And we always say Hostos Community College is a family, and it is indeed. And you feel at home when you are there. And that theater, I think just being there is a great way to start to reopening to the world of performing.
It's amazing. I remember all the amazing shows that have been produced at Hostos, especially supporting Afro-Dominican music, a few of which I've had the privilege of performing in. And it's just a big contribution, not just to music, but to the whole discourse of identity and Dominicanidad. And even for me, as you know, like it's really has been such a gift, you know, to participate in the programs at Hostos. I see we have a lot of praise from Facebook, a lot of likes here. And I don't know if we have other comments. Do we have any questions? Peggy Robles Alvarado loves Andre.
Thank you, Peggy. We love you back.
Andre, while we're here, can you tell, is there anything else you'd like to add about your music? Like maybe how did you get started? Why are you even doing this? Or anything you'd like us to know?
Well, Paul, I started doing, can you believe I started singing jazz in the Dominican Republic back in the day? Like when I was 16, 17, I had my first gigs in Santiago, Dominican Republic. And women are not encouraged to hear or to sing bachata, actually, like because where it comes from. La procedencia de la música originally from the brothels and all of that is associated with something forbidden, kind of. And when I moved to New York and I started getting gigs in 2004, people, that barrier and that prohibition of that music is blurred. It doesn't exist anymore. Thanks God, because nostalgia erases all of that. Nostalgia erases all of kind of taboos. And once I'm there singing in bars, people were asking for bachatas, and I'm like, I don't know if I know it, but let's try it. And bachata here, even though you're not encouraged, is everywhere. It's in the air. And I happen to know so many songs than I even realized, especially the very old ones that I used to listen at my grandmother's bar in St. Croix. And you see, there is again that element. She was not playing loud bachata en una bellonera in Dominican Republic. She was playing it in the Virgin Islands. And I was able to hear it in her bellonera. She had a bar. And there was not that boundary of it being for prim and proper ladies. People just wanted to be connected to the music that took them back home. And yeah, there was a lot of growing and accepting what I am in accepting bachata when I moved to New York in 2004.
Well, you're touching on so many issues, and I was hoping that we would get into this conversation about the different locations of Dominican culture, DR, US, also other parts of the Caribbean, and even Spain, you know, have, you know, Venezuela, and also the role of women, and then also the different genres, because you said you were singing jazz, you know, but I come from a jazz background, so I hear a lot of jazz and blues, you know, overlap. So it's so interesting that you were singing jazz and then you kind of came to New York and then they asked you for bachata. Mm-hmm. Have like a different view of it, you know. Did you play in Santiago with Rafaelito Mirabal and Feye Vega and those people?
Yeah.
There's a whole scene there, you know?
Yeah. And backup singer for Xiomara Fortuna, backup singer for Patricia Pereira. That's where I kind of cut my teeth.
Okay.
And it was really good. It it was a very good experience in musicianship and on also like how to respect a stage and to relate to other musicians. It was really cool. You mentioned Spain. One of my main musicians, I have two people that helped me make bachata. One of them is Pimbe Cosme from New York, and the other is Deri Gracito, and he's a bachatero based in Barcelona. And I love his style of bachata because although he's pulled to trying to make bachata Dominican style, seen through the lens of New York, he wants to do like aventura kind of thing.
Okay.
That is like the cool stuff with all of the cool effects. He still has something so tied to El Sur Profundo that there is a lot of good bachateros there too. That is intact over the years. I guess out of living there, is kind of frozen in time.
Wow.
So,
yeah, that happens.
That's something very cool about Deri. He is sensible to everything that is happening in the new bachatas and in all of different music genres, but he's in the old world.
That often happens with different forms of folk music. You know, we study that in ethnomusicology when the people that don't live within the country or the center of where something comes from, the people that go somewhere else, they preserve it in a more old, you know, pure form, you know? So
yeah,
that's interesting.
He is I think he has given so much to my sound, actually.
Okay.
Because I mean, when you hear the complete songs, and then you have John in the bass that brings his interpretation of of what is dictated by Dominican Republic, by Spain, by New York, and his background itself. So I think that I'm very fortunate to have such a wonderful team that can help me be unique beyond the things that I put effort on.
Yeah, it's very unique too. And it's interesting hearing your story because, you know, you were with Xiomara, Patricia, and, you know, the music that now some people are calling alternativa. But then you came to New York and then you went back to the roots, you know, and I like what you're doing a lot. I like that aspect of it because it gets back to the nitty gritty, even though you're bringing a lot of other things to it, you know, jazz and your background with, you know, people like Patricia, but, you know, you're going to the roots. And I know you used to play every week, you know, and just cualquier restaurant around Nueva York, you were in the nitty gritty, you know, you weren't just only playing in La Ruina de San Francisco or whatever, which is great too, you know, but.
I mean, I guess you have to play also para que uno no se, you get musty. Uno se pone mojoso si uno sigue guardado. You gotta be out there.
That's how you develop, you know, by playing a lot. That's true.
And it has been really fun too. And whatever I learned all of these years playing here in the Dominican Republic, I think everything helps. Everything you learn is good. Even to learn not to do certain things is really cool.
Hey, here we have a few more comments and even a question, actually. This is from Lisa Estrella on Facebook. The hearts of the youth will be ignited and the youth will be allowed to break out of their box because of this.
I hope so. I do hope so.
Here's a question from Facebook. Eileen Contreras Mojica. Funny thing about this music is that this amarga music makes me want to party more than music that's not associated with bitterness. So why is that? That's getting back to something we were talking about. That's really interesting. So amarga music bitter music makes you want to party, and she wants to know why.
Because la bachata entra por el corazón y sale por los pies.
Oh.
There is that say too.
Wow.
And at the same time, you tell me, like, when you're feeling all gloomy and you're feeling that amargue and that saudade, you have to work it out. And there is no better way to work it out than dancing and letting music take over you. It's kind of a little moment of zen that you have when you're listening, dancing, enjoying, sweating your bachata. And that's something very particular it has.
That's very profound. And thanks to Eileen for that. That was a good question. And wow, I'm learning so much here. This is really great. Hey, now they're coming in. Here's another one. From YouTube, Cristobal Garcia asks, what's next with Andre Veloz? How has the pandemic affected your music?
Well, it's kind of, it has affected me. I'm not going to tell you it hasn't. I just take it one day at a time. And releasing little by little. But I'm not gonna lie to you that is tougher. And we just have to keep our head up. And in my case, I think keep on releasing music and reinventing ourselves a little bit. I am open, for example, to do more fusion that is more appealing to the youth, to young people. And that doesn't mean I'm gonna actually leave bachata behind, but integrate it to new things and keep on moving el esqueleto, because that's what, we have to survive this.
Oh man, there's so much that we're all gonna do. I can feel it. Everybody has so much creativity ready to go, and everybody's been developing and growing. It's been very hard, but you do grow through and you confront certain things, and it's been there's a lot of tragedy that we have to grieve, but I really believe that there's a bright day ahead. And with music, we can do anything,
I want to make sure people go and visit my different music outlets, for example, YouTube, that I have a lot of stuff that cannot go into Spotify or some other places because of copyrights. But make sure you visit, just type Andre Veloz and you're going to find a lot of music. The 3 songs that were released in this 12-month period that were a remix of Etaquetaqui and Agutina and Apaga el Televisor. That is a song that, thanks to the pandemic, I was just like, I don't see myself finishing an album per se. So I'm releasing this song because I think it's an important moment and that we need it right now, where we really have to be connected in other level than electronics.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's all coming. But I did notice that in the pandemic with all the binging TV, Netflix and stuff. Personally, I'm not that into that. So I just go to my instrument. I'm practicing. I do my music every day, but I like that message. So yeah, so right. I was going to ask you if you wanted to leave us with anything, but definitely everybody check out Andre Veloz on you have a YouTube channel, right? And
yes, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, my website, www.andreveloz.com. And I want to tell you, I'm really excited by, it's a comment for CUNY, for City College and Hostos Community College. I'm really not only glad that you invited me to be part of this series, but also very happy and looking forward to the next 3 concerts.
Right, so am I. It's just so amazing to be involved with the Dominican Studies Institute, Hostos, and you, Andre, and the other artists. So remember, it's a 4-part series, there are 3 more to come. We had Andre Veloz. My name is Paul Austerlitz, un servidor. Please stay tuned for information on the upcoming events. You'll be able to see everything there and invite your friends. So I will see you in 2 weeks.
I'll be there too.
Okay. Thanks, Andrea. Thanks, everyone. I love everyone. Ciao.